good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well, had a good night's sleep. But before we start anything, everyone acknowledge God this morning. Father, we just thank you for giving us life and for giving us life more abundantly on this day. We thank you for life in our lungs, being able to speak, being able to see, being able to hear, and we just thank you for it all. Father, I just thank you for the listeners who are listening today will be able to push through and whatever is plaguing their minds this morning, that they'll be set free and that this study that we have today will be freeing for them. Hope everyone is doing amazingly well. I thank you all for coming out. Today, I wanted to really just talk with you all and just see this. We did Genesis 6 last week, and if you saw, I thought it would be Genesis 6 and 7. Apparently, it was just Genesis 6 because we got to talking, and you know how that goes. So I want to talk to you today about Genesis chapter 7, and we're going to go ahead and do a study, a breakdown study. So I'm going to read. I'm reading for the King James version. You can read from any other version. I just don't approve of the NIV, and I'm very close to saying I don't approve of the NLT. So yes, I got beef with both of those versions, but that's just my own personal thing. I'm here just being extremely playful, but I love talking with you all. I got the Bible right here, reading it off, and we're gonna start here, okay? All right. So, and the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of the beast they are not, and they wait, hold on, and of the beasts that are not clean by two, the male by his female. So the clean by seven, the unclean by two. So it wasn't two of every animal. For those of you who want to read the go over the Bible, it wasn't two of each animal. It was seven for clean, two for unclean. Of the fowls also of the air by sevens, male and female, to keep seed alive upon the face of the earth. So God had a plan that we're going to restart. I'm going to destroy everything that's just all messed up, but we're going to start over for yet 7 days, and I for yet 7 days, and I cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So he means in 7 days, going for King James, in 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according unto that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters was upon the earth. Now, backstory with this, because then them them putting his age here is of importance. One thing about the Bible that I had to learn is every verse is intentional in the Bible. Okay? When you read a verse, there are no unintentional verses in the Bible. Even if you don't know why it's there for a reason. So Noah being 600 years old had significance. The question of significance is something that I don't really hear commonly said, but this is what I believe the significance is. Go back to chapter 6, right? And if we go back to chapter 6, we shall see that Noah was, I believe it says in chapter 6 or it was in chapter 5. I want to say chapter, it might have been chapter 5. It's probably the end of chapter 5. Matter of fact, I do believe it's chapter 5. Let me go to chapter 5 real fast. Chapter 5. You scroll down to the end of chapter 5. Yep, chapter 5, verse 32. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? So we know that Noah was 500 years old around the time that the Lord spoke to him, right? So from this point, when God gave Noah direction, when God gave Noah directions and everything, like God gave Noah all these directions, and He said, "And for 7 days I will cause it for yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain." So let me see. Yeah, this is after the ark was built. So God told Noah to build the ark 100 years ago. Did y'all catch that? God told Noah to build the ark 100 years ago. God comes back 100 years later. Did Noah? What do you think was going through Noah's mind at the time of building that ark? Like, think about that for a second. What do you think was going through Noah's mind? Do you think for there wasn't even a second in his mind where he probably questioned, is this going to work? Let's make these as real people. What would you do in that situation? Even as no matter how righteous you are, no matter how saved you are, you don't hear a word from God for 100 years. No one watching this, or at least I want to believe, the majority, 99.9% of you watching, are not 100 years old. Y'all don't know what that's like. So, matter of fact, if God don't talk to us in a week, some of us are going crazy. If God don't talk to us in a month, some of us are going crazy. If we don't hear God for a whole year, we are losing our minds. This man has not heard God for 100 years. So he built the ark, and then after building the ark, because what Noah was doing, Noah was living his life in a righteous way. That's why he found favor in God's eyes, because he was living in accordance to how Adam should have lived. Let's go forward. He's living in accordance on how Abel and Seth were modeling out. I'll say more so Abel than Seth. So I don't. We can't mention too much about Seth. I do want to believe Seth followed through in a good line, because because when his son was born, that everyone was glorifying God. So I want to believe said the best about Seth. But that's why verse 6 is important. So you say Noah 600 years old, and this is after the ark was built. He was 500 years old when he started the ark. This man's children became men in the process of the ark building. This is something to consider. So let's keep going. Verse 7. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. His sons got married, y'all. In the time of this ark started, his children were children back then. Now his sons have wives. One of his sons has he's even a grandfather, because he even has a kid. One of his sons has a kid. So into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean beasts and of the beasts that are not clean, and the fowls of everything that creepeth upon the earth. They went in two and two onto Noah into the ark, the male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. So right here, we have to break this down and what that means. So in the same day, the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven open. That means it wasn't only raining, y'all. There were massive earthquakes like never before seen happening on the earth. Think of the biggest earthquake you've ever seen on this earth. That was that did not compare to the earthquake back then, because that earthquake shook shook the entire world. Shook even the word shook the entire world. The entire world, where all of the population where people migrated to was broken up, and you had massive earthquakes of a scale of never seen before. So you had earthquakes, and then you had a storm like Think of like hurricane level storms happening at the same time. Like not with so much with the winds, but with the type of downpour and the rain. So you had massive rain and an earthquake, and you could imagine how scary that could have been back then. So let me see. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the self same day enter Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth and the sons of Noah and Noah's wife and the three wives of his son with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and all the creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, and every bird of every sort. And they went unto Noah into the ark, two and two of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Key point again, no wasted scriptures. Noah didn't close the door to the ark. God sealed the door. This has relevance when we get to chapter 8, I believe. Chapter 8 or chapter 9. I would say chapter 9. Remember this for when we get to chapter 9. This has relevance, okay? And the Lord and the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bear up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth, and the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth. Let's read that again. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both fowl and of cattle and of beasts and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. Notice how I say this all the time. I love catching this in Genesis 7. Y'all notice how this doesn't say any of the sea creatures or the sea creations that God has made, right? So all the sea animals that God has made from back then, yeah, those are still somewhere in the ocean. They're still there. They didn't die because they live in water. So everyone's thinking, oh look, those are colossal. No, the more colossal animals that you see in the ocean are still alive. We are still finding animals in the ocean we're still discovering animals in the ocean, even as far as last year. We're still finding new things. We're not gonna get into that though. I just had to point that out. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, and all that was dry land died. Emphasis on dry land. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping things, and all the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Yo, can y'all imagine that? That there'll be nothing but a flood upon the whole entire earth for 150 days. That is crazy. But anyway, that is all I got for Genesis 7 for you all. We spoke for a good 15 minutes. See, there's not really anyone in the chat for today, so we're not going to do too much of question and answers. For those of you who are watching the replay, I do appreciate you coming. Shout out to the person who liked it on Facebook. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. If you all enjoyed this Bible study and would like more of these, continue to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and most of all, you make sure you share this with a friend. This is Abaddon, and we are out. Take care, y'all.